Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. Definitely appreciate it big time. We got a testimonial for you guys today, and as well, entrepreneur that we are excited about, just their dynamicness in the world right now and what they're bringing to the world when it comes to business and commerce. And so, obviously, well-rounded individual. Looking forward to connecting and building further. But this is one of those episodes where you get a trustee, they come in with a plan, they execute their plan, they move on. So we're definitely going to ask them for some story and some detail. Definitely want them to keep it brief for you guys so you guys can get the most out of it. But today we have a fellow trustee. His name is Chris. How you doing today, Chris?
Thank you, Christian.
Good, good, good. Appreciate you for coming on, Chris. Big time, man. Thank you. So we got connected with you. You reached out via email. A lot of people don't know. Oh man, I got to reach out via email. Could you talk about what led you to reaching out? And even as well, go ahead and, tell a brief story about going to the bank and how that worked out for you, just, listening to it. So go ahead there.
So I'm a new trustee, um, and we had a call, and you said, you're not necessarily a new trustee. You've been doing business for a while. You just got the title trustee. So as I'm going through this journey of being a new trustee, but now incorporating, the business, all the business I was doing beforehand. I'm in the process of learning how to be a trustee, learning how to be excellent in the way I do business, learning how to just level up and be an excellent trustee. I'm understanding that I need a mentor. You can't do this by yourself. My past, I was an engineer, and being an engineer in the past, you do a lot of things by yourself, and you can succeed by yourself. But I'm understanding that trusteeship is teamwork. It's a teamwork sport, if I can use that analogy. And so I'm looking at, your YouTube channel. I'm looking at the videos, and it's time for me to start building some meat to the skeleton of a trust. And I'm finding out, I'm on my way to the bank to represent the trust. And I started listening to, your teaching on it. I think you have about three or four, maybe even five of them. And I have about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. So I got some time on my hands. I'm going through it, while you're speaking, I'm looking in the mirror, just seeing if I look like what you're describing. And as I'm taking this journey, I'm learning that when you represent the trust, you have to dress a certain way. You have to speak a certain way. And you made some references to people who were ending up with some struggles while they were doing this. And you said some things that touched me, which were, are you dressing properly? Are you speaking properly? Because you will get the respect that reflects how you're dressing and how you're handling yourself. Therefore, when I did go into the building, I'm sparkling, meaning, I'm smiling. I'm just as cordial as I would be in any other business setting, but now I'm more purposeful because uh, I'm I'm confident that I'm equipped with the information that I need to move forward this transaction, which at that time, as you understand, being a newly minted trustee, this is something that's very heavy for me, right? But nonetheless, with the great counsel that I got from listening to what you were teaching, and just the my mobile mentor, and I can go back into these video archives that you have, over 700 plus messages as of today. And not only that, I knew that once I did get that bank account, I knew that I needed to reach out to the vault and speak to you, because now I'm dealing with, a task that's an undertaking that's overwhelming for me. And so, I'll stop right there unless you want me to segue into our interaction. Christian, can you hear me?
I actually had it muted out.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. I say, yeah, I appreciate it big time. You can continue.
Okay. So I'll give you details as far as what I'm dealing with. I'm going to make this, I'm going to make it brief because, as Christian said, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been involved with real estate for almost 20 years. I've dealt with real estate investment companies. I have owned real estate assets myself and gone through several transactions. My experience may not be the bulk of someone else's experience, but if you understand real estate investment, everybody's journey and experience is different. Um, Now I'm in a situation where I was foolish enough to buy property sight unseen. Now, I wasn't savvy in real estate investment at the time, but nonetheless, when it became aware to me that the properties that I did buy, which were touted or sold to me as turnkeys, they weren't turnkeys. I go visit the properties and it just looks like, a horror movie. The exterior, the interior, um, this place reeked, and people were living there. It was really bad. So now I'm in the situation of problem solving because if you're going to be a leader, you got to solve problems. You can't just identify them. So, I believe a lot of people like to expound upon problems. I like to expound upon how to solve the problems. And I'm looking at the problem and I'm like, okay, we got to find a solution. So I sought to salvage one of the properties. I couldn't. I had to wholesale it. So I pretty much not wholesale it, but I just had to sell it at a discount because I was the owner, so it's not considered a wholesale, even though it was sold at a deep discount. But I sold that one as a deep discount. That was a single family residence. The other residence was a duplex. In the duplex, I was able to bring a team in there of some very honorable men who saw the dire circumstances I was in, and they were able to rehab one of the properties and my deal with them was, I want you to do the project, but teach my sons. So they taught my sons on the first rehab, and the second rehab, me and my sons were able to complete it, and everything went successfully. But nonetheless, I'm entrapped in a contract, which is basically a promissory note. I was unaware to me it was a balloon payment. Right after I'm done rehabbing, I got another problem. So it was a balloon payment. I had to pretty much get that handled within 3 to 4 days. So you just imagine having to pay a balloon payment on a mortgage in 3 to 4 days. But nonetheless, I found the lawyers and we were able to put the financial mechanisms in place to be able to transition all the funds required to end the promissory note and file the deed to be able to be released from that promissory note. After that was done, I needed to understand from frustration how I could move this over as a trustee now into a trust, which will give me or put me in a position of stewardship instead of ownership. Because when I was doing things in my name, a lot of things are very restrictive. There's not a lot of flexibility. And several. I've listened to a lot of your messages, but you basically say that owning or not owning, but when you are in the position of a trustee, the trust is not necessarily the vehicle that's going to get you everywhere you want to go. It's a vehicle that's creative enough so that if somebody is at the helm of it as a trustee, they can figure out where to go. And so I needed to figure out how I could transition this property into the trust that I'm a trustee of, and that's when I called Trust Christian. And I told there's a lot of moving parts to this, but nonetheless, I just from listening to his messages, I just had a lot of confidence and he was competent and he would be able to pull this off. Uh, One of the things I read a book by Reginald Lewis, and he basically says in business, and the book is called Why Should All the White Guys Have Fun? And I think that's the name of the book.
That's
But
the
he
name.
says, yes, he says you in business you got to pull off the deal. So I knew that Trust Christian can help me pull off this deal, even though I haven't met him. Just listening to the messages and me being able to listen to a message driving to the bank and getting all the input and information I need to be able to pull that off. I was confident he can pull this off. Now, this is at a higher level. A lot of more capital is at risk, but you know, you're dealing with trust, and there's not a lot of people who are really proficient in that area. We get on the call. Within an hour, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. He puts, some pressure on me to get things done and hit my targets. And I hit the targets, contacted people I need to contact. He wanted to meet the next day. I thought that would be too soon, but with his experience, I just said I just had to trust the process. We got on the call the next day, and literally while we were on the call, the we're just starting with our, proper greetings to one another. And while I'm on the call, I get an email that basically says that the documentation that needed to be signed, that he tasked me with the day before, that it was signed. And the next part is just me going down there and filing with the county registers to be able to handle the proper paperwork of moving the ownership out of, my name or entity into the trust. That was done. There was some other tasks that I needed to do, but I can do those offline without interacting with Trust Christian because he's already given me the targets. And pretty much we were talking before this call, and I hit the targets of everything that he told me to do. And I'm literally at the last part, and there's no more third parties, so there's no counterparty risk dealing with this asset anymore. It's in the trust, and everything is within everything I need to do for the vestiges or the last residue is in my ballpark. There's no longer any other party that could hinder the progress of this asset. I've been seeking to stabilize this assets for over 2 years, and being at the final stretch, and being that the creativity of the trust, and being that I had a good mentor and a good coach, I was able to get through this whole process, which I understand it's just private information, and
Right.
if you, the only way you'll be able to handle these complex matters is you're going to have people who know how to handle the complexity, because to me it was just like seeing in a mirror dimly, are seeing in the darkness, but there's people who've already gone before, and he could see through the tunnel and into the light. So it was just kind of like, hey, hope, I'm gonna hold your hand and I'll walk you through this. And literally within an hour, I think we spent an hour and a half, 2 hours talking and discussing this matter. You would think that we would need to work on this for a week, but nonetheless, it got handled in about 2 hours. So I'm very excited about that. And like you said before, I'm excited about, what the future holds in terms of how the vault could assist me as I move forward as a newly minted trustee.
Man, you over here sitting here giving out flowers. I'm sitting here thinking about your story the whole time. And then I'm like, dang, don't we have to talk about him? And I'm like, yeah, we are. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, we're supposed to talk about his channel too. I'm like, okay, great. Because it wasn't about me for sure or the vote. It was just about obviously your listening, your understanding, your digestion of the information, your execution of the information. It's not Trust Christian's information. It's just
Yes, sir.
information. Everybody likes to think you can get it all through the internet for free, but as you can see, it took some investment, and that's just going to continue to be your life. So definitely appreciate you big time, man. It's exciting to see. Obviously, people just get results. That's what people pay for. They're not really paying for Trust Christian's time. You're paying for the information to give you the results you need. Some people they abuse it and they want to get more time. Some people may not even use the time that they got. But as you can see, somebody that comes through, gets the information, utilizes it, and it doesn't take, it's not a forever process. Is he going to be a forever trustee? We would like to think that he is, just based off of the movement so far. And that's just that. So we definitely are excited about, what you've done so far in trusteeship. To have someone say, "Oh, I secured an asset," and truly, we understand what you're saying. So when we talk about the level of security that trusteeship provides, we're well aware of that, but obviously it's not as easy sometimes to say that to someone that may not be in trusteeship. And sometimes it's good to hear that from another, we wouldn't call you a normal individual, but someone that's walking around on God's green earth too and saying, hey, do I, can I do this? Are there other people doing this? Where was the asset at? What state did you do it in? Hey, did you do it in 2000 or did you do it in 1940? It's like, no, we did it in 2026. We've done this all in less than 3 months. We did, done this in the past 30 days is working with this trustee. So, you guys can get an idea of the time of year and just go forward from there. So definitely appreciate you big time, Chris, man. Definitely appreciate the time here. But we definitely want everyone to know that We have quite a few entrepreneurs like Chris come through, and they're not just sucking tailpipes. They're not sucking fumes out of a tailpipe. They are a trustee that is moving and shaking, and they've been successful in their life. And because they've been successful, they're going to continue to be successful. So we wanted to promote Chris because we thought what he's doing is very unique. And just obviously it's in trend right now, which is very, very important. So we're excited to promote. But Chris, we want you to go ahead and share what you're working on with the children's stuff and talk about what got you inspired. Do your best to keep it brief, but talk about what got you inspired, how you got into it, and just kind of what you're doing, and then ultimately where you see it going in less than like 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Can I also share another project? And I'll make both brief.
Oh, for sure, please.
Thank you. So I want to share. Make sure it's up. Okay. Yeah, start sharing. Okay, so this website here is my or the YouTube channel that I've been working on. It's you should be able to see it. It's Yah
Yep.
Music Official, YAH Music Official. I'm a Hebrew or I'm an Israelite, and pretty much I've had a love for the scriptures. So what I did was I homeschooled my children, and I wanted them to learn the Psalms. So what I did was I used AI music to rewrite all the Psalms. And what I did was I produced them on this channel here so that other people can enjoy the music that my children were enjoying, because it gives them an opportunity to increase their vocabulary, because they're homeschooled. So it gives them an opportunity to increase their vocabulary plus understand the Psalms. King David was, a very proficient writer. He's also a soldier, a poet, and so he's a very interesting historical figure. And the Bible is one of the best-selling books. So I wanted my children to have experience in, delving themselves into the Psalms to help them mature spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and I call that manifold wisdom because being a homeschool father, it gives them the equipment to be well-rounded people, and it gives them an opportunity to learn Psalms, learn how to speak, learn how to communicate, increase their vocabulary in a I would say non-intrusive way. It's just something that they can enjoy. So my heart has been in homeschooling, my children, and I thought that I wanted to share that with other people, whether they just they're engaged with the Psalms in a different way. So this is the website right here, and I call the project the Psalm Experience, because it's an opportunity to experience the Psalms in a way that some people may not have experienced it, because you get to visually look at the Psalms, plus you get an opportunity here with the compilations. You could just listen to the Psalms. So I'm going to be publishing all 151 of the Psalms. I'm currently, I think I'm at Psalm 75 or 76 right now, but we're going to
That's great.
continue with this project, and it should be an exciting road. So I think you can still see my screen. Can you see my screen still?
Yes. It's funny. I thought
Okay.
you were gonna say I'm on 16. He said not 70. It's like, all right, so you halfway there. Yeah, you got
Yes,
16. You
sir.
got a lot of work to do, but 70 is quite a bit of Psalms done, obviously, already, if it's 100 or something.
Yes, sir. And I want people to understand that I didn't take this project lightly. I took every word and either translated word for word or meaning using the Amplified Bible. And so you're going to get it's the real word. It was a challenge. It required a lot of dexterity and flexibility and diligence. But altogether, it's going to be probably 250 songs that I've been able to write using that content.
Okay. Where you
So
going to
here's another
Zanzibar right here?
Yes, sir. So here's a project I've been working on, and I'm an investor in this right here, or the trust is an investment in this. Excuse my language. So basically, this is the Pom Pom Suites. It is basically a resort, in Zanzibar, Tanzania. You can see here there's a special, and here's the website here. You can easily navigate the website. You can check the availability. And just to let you know, Christian, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm developing 100 songs for this particular project right here, using AI music. So that's what I'm
Wow.
doing right now for this project here. But if you've ever uh, been to Africa, this is an exciting place to go. If you haven't been to Africa, I would suggest you consider Zanzibar. It literally looks like heaven. You know, the sand is pure white that you can see the water is just you can see right through it. There's just a lot to experience there from the spice farms. It's just beautiful. Stone Town, there's a lot of shopping there and a lot of, historical monuments are there as well. The sunset's beautiful. You can meet they're one of the oldest tribes in Africa is out there as well. So I just wanted to share that with everyone so they'll understand, what I've been working on and as an entrepreneur so that people can be inspired and people can also experience something tangible because as Christian was saying, as a trustee, you have to produce something that's tangible and real. This isn't a place to talk about theory. We learn and we do here.
Yeah, definitely excited about that for sure. It's always funny when I run into trustees that do real estate, man. Just whether you're interested or not, it's just like hilarious because obviously there's obviously supposedly no more space on Earth, so you kind of just have to see what spaces people are going to develop and how what are going to develop in or redevelop them and it's always a beauty to see people that are passionate about putting together a project that is ecological, just so many benefits to society, creating what we call, like you say, not just creating theory, but true enterprise value, true commercial enterprise value, whether you're here or not here, so definitely appreciate you big time, Chris, man, for coming on and sharing your success. With trustee training and as well the projects that you're working on, man. You got a lot of these, what do they call them, like these success podcasts nowadays and they say, "Oh yeah, so I'm doing this podcast for the younger generation, Chris. So please tell me if you could tell anybody from the younger generation, if you could say one thing before you leave planet Earth, what would it be?"
What would I say?
Yeah,
I would say find a purpose, and purpose means destination. I'll simplify it in saying this. Uh, the encapsulation or understanding of leadership is passion. You need to have a passion, something that keeps you motivated. You need to have a plan. The plan gives you the power to execute. You need to have a goal. Goal is a milestone. You need to have a vision. You need to know the end and the beginning. And you need to have a purpose, which you need to know your destination. When you put that together, you'll understand that you can lead yourself. If you can lead yourself, then you'll be a visionary. The book says that without vision, the people perish. So don't let your dreams or your purpose here on this earth die without you getting to experience the fact that you're not limited by anything else but your lack of creativity, or you'll be empowered by creativity. And that is going to come from you and the gifts that the Most High gave you. But you got to explore it, you got to put in the work, and you got to take risks, calculated risks. And you got to go and, literally explore to see what gifts do I have and unleash them.
100%. I appreciate that big time, Chris. It's funny, when you come from certain communities, they don't encourage risk. And for that reason, you can just see failures abound. Why? Because they don't understand that on the opposite side of failure, just like the guy that created the light bulb, he failed 10,000 times, but he clearly, we're all sitting there with incandescent light bulbs. Now, most people wouldn't have the fortitude to actually go 10,000 times without the bulb working clearly. But if it took 10,000 times experiments, I mean, that's obviously years. Let's talk about it. If it's a day every day, it's years that he went without a payoff. But he knew that clearly if I keep working on this, I'm a crack it. Like you say, he had the vision in his head of it working. It was just okay, I gotta experiment. I have to make a plan. I have to work on the plan. All of these different things. But there's definitely every element of what he did and what you're saying. And like you say, just encouragement. You just gotta take the risk. You gotta be creative. You gotta do a few different things. Now, granted, like Chris is aware, everybody's not gonna do it. So if you're trying, you might not do it. But once again, there are a few gunslingers like Chris out here that they're not waiting for answers or orders. They're giving them. And they're willing to take the responsibility of it not working, which he's talked about from our conversations with real estate, where you make mistakes. Like you say, he bought a property sight unseen. How many of you guys have the money and the balls to actually buy a property sight unseen? 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, $100,000 out of your pocket, sight unseen. But you guys are, oh, I don't want to spend $50 for gas. So once again, lessons have been definitely shared in this particular episode, in this testimonial. Appreciate you guys for listening this long for sure. Appreciate you, Chris, man, for doing the good work. Appreciate you wanting to share, what we thought was just ultra cool, especially with the children stuff, because it's so in trend right now. Just really excited for you and your future endeavors, man, and definitely looking forward to connecting with you further, man. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, everybody. If y'all want to reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com is the email. Same one Chris used is Christian@trustchristian.com. Peace and joy.